Welcome to the Jointery podcast, a podcast where we study the lives of study the lives of two dads trying to find the balance between the families, hobbies and work. This week on the Jointery, we discover the answers to the questions such as...
And I honestly, I've been rambling now, and I don't exactly remember what you asked me.
Let's search for the meaning of life as it has never been witnessed before. The Jointery podcast.
Oh my god, dude. How are you? How are you this week? How was your surprise root canal this week?
I totally forgot to write that down on my rundown to bring that up.
Surprise root canal.
Yeah, that was a great way to spend my day yesterday. No, really, I woke up 2 days ago and I had some tooth pain, which is unfortunately not an uncommon thing with me because I don't have I've had bad luck with teeth. And so yeah, I woke up a couple days ago and I felt it and I was like, oh man, that's not good. And it's never good, but I got a week, 9 days of work coming up here shortly, and I did not want to deal with this during that stint for Super Bowl. So I went yesterday to my dentist. I called him up and was like, hey, Dr. Scott, I have him on I can actually personally call him.
Oh, you've been there so many times,
yeah.
his personal number, you don't even go through his dental assistants or whatever.
No, I have a direct line to him.
Do you have a room, your own room at the dentist where it's named after you? Oh, this is the Conroy suite.
I basically funded his kids' college. I open the door and lights and a carpet rolls out. They're like, oh, the VIP is here.
Ben, we're so happy to see you. I really wanted to paint my boat this summer, and glad you're here.
Yeah. So I went to him. I called him up, and he's like, "Yeah, can you come in? Just come in this morning." Basically, he's like, "I'll make time for you."
Of course he is,
as he should. You know what I mean,
Mr. Conroy.
Yeah. So I go in, and he's no bullshit with me. He tells me straight up what's going on, what he can do, what he can't do. And he basically just he took a quick x-ray and then he looked and he's like, yeah, man, I gotta send you to a specialist. The problem is it's not a really big cavity. It was where it was on the close to my gum.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was too close to the gum for him to do, so he had to send me to a specialist. So and anytime you hear the word specialist, what do you think?
Oh, I think that they have an even more special boat than your normal dentist.
Yes, exactly.
he has his own private golf cart at his golf club.
Yeah. So I go see this lady, and she was no joke, man. She was probably 4'11", Eastern European woman. She's an older lady, but dude, she was so efficient at what she did. I mean, she was like, okay, I can get this whole root canal done in 45 minutes. I'm like, 45 minutes? That seems fast. But
I couldn't even change my tire in 45 minutes.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And so I sit down and she's literally she starts and it's I'm watching her work. It's she has 6 hands. She's moving so fast. She's like, grab this, grab that.
But were you medicated?
She used the numbing magic sauce on me.
You didn't get the sauce. You didn't get the gas or
no gas. But
okay.
She was just very fast and efficient, and it was I know she had a helper, so that there's 4 hands really, but it looked like there was 6. She was moving so quick, and and she kept checking her watch too, while she was timing herself, trying to beat her personal best or something. which was cool, but at the same time, I'm this is like a serious procedure, and you're like, I don't want you to rush through it, but
At the end, did she like drop her drill? Like, and I'm done.
she just claps her hands, stands up.
Time.
Exactly, time. But no, it was cool. I was in and out. It was honestly though, because of how fast she worked, I don't think she gave the time for the Novocaine to kick in, because it was definitely one of the more painful root canals I've had in my life. But what are you gonna do?
So wait, so was it 45 minutes at the end?
Yeah, she basically got me out in 45 minutes. I think it might have been a little bit longer than that, but it was pretty damn close to 45 minutes. Yeah.
Did you get a discount like Domino's Pizza when they're late, or did
No,
you?
God, that would be great. I should have bet her. All right, Doc, if you can get this, if you go over 45, I get every minute over, I should get a discount on. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
That would be.
But if if that was the case, she'd probably give you like the full jugs and you'd pass out, and she'd be like, "Yeah, it was only 20 minutes. It was unbelievable. So now you owe me twice as much."
Yeah. So that was a fun experience yesterday. Not really, but it was an experience. It was an experience, and so I got that thing. I feel great though today. She did a hell of a job. I mean, I'm in no pain. My jaw's a little sore from keeping my mouth open for so long. You know how they put that block thing in your mouth, but yeah, no. So that was that.
I did think it was funny when we talked briefly yesterday. Man, your face looked all swollen, and like your kids are like acting like jerks, and like you're just like, I call you later.
Yeah, I was not in a good place, and I was trying to work on my security system. And that's a whole nother thing, dude. I mean, remember last week I was telling you I was trying to get my security system working. It wasn't working. Yeah. It was driving me crazy.
They had those really odd hours that they were open, right?
Yeah, the hours of the chat was like in the middle of the night here. So obviously I'm dealing with somebody in another country, obviously, in another time zone. But spent a whole week basically trying to get this thing to work, multiple times chatting with these people, moving things around, trying new things, trying different, taking it inside, hooking it up to the router inside. The whole time I'm explaining to this lady, like, I'm using a TP link. I'm using this thing, for that sends the signal out to my garage, because I can't get the signal close enough because the DVR is in the garage, but the router's in the living room, and and this damn chat keeps cutting me off, and I'm losing my crap, because it keeps giving me the same freaking like error, a parsing server error, and it's just like, I was on the phone with you yesterday. I'm yelling at the TV, and I told you I felt like freaking Michael from Office Space. Fuck you, TP load letter. You know what I mean? Like fucking TP load letter. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like I'm dying. I'm like, parsing fair, dude. I was.
Oh my God, dude! You've had a pretty rough couple of weeks, though. I mean,
yeah,
like, I know you were waiting on your car to be delivered, and then you had issues with Carvana, and then like I know you had like multiple house issues, like you had to have your house like pressured, and then you had to fix a pipe, and like.
Yeah, it's been an adventure. I'll tell you, nonetheless, it's been an adventure. But get real quick. I do all that shit yesterday for my fucking security system. I'm all day. I'm busting my ass to get this thing after the dentist, and Debbie comes home. And I go, I bought this. I bought a new gigabyte power inline converter thing to plug in, because the old one wasn't working. Obviously, that was the problem. So I bought the new one, get it in, set it up, still not working. I'm like, dude, what the freaking frack? Debbie like goes, when you put that new plug strip thing on your wall and then you plug that into it, have you tried unplugging the plug strip and just plugging the box directly into the wall?
Wait. Before you answer it, can I guess that you hadn't tried that?
No, I hadn't tried that. because
So,
in my
Ben,
head,
how did that work?
in my head, I thought, why would that matter? It's a plug plugged into the plug. It's like a little plug strip. It's not a plug strip. It's a multi-plug converter, right? So you put the thing in to give me more plugs on the wall. I plugged the TP-Link gigabyte in power inline converter into that, which was, but then I had, as soon as I unplugged that multi-plug thing and plugged the TP-Link thing back into the wall, it fucking worked. Oh my God, a week. I spent a week. Not even, dude.
You spent a week and it was the adapter that you were screwing with you, and it wasn't even anything to do with the system.
No, and Debbie's like, "Why wouldn't you have just tried to unplug?" Because she's like, "It was working, and then you plugged this adapter in, and then you plugged that into the adapter, and then it wasn't working."
I bet you Debbie felt so good with this
conversation. Oh my God, dude. She was sitting there smiling. She loves making me look like an idiot. She won't say it. She won't tell me that, because I'm like, why do you what? And she's like, oh no, I'm not trying to. And I'm like, you love it. You love it. You cherish these moments.
Do you think she's at work, like telling the coworkers, like, oh man, I got my husband good last night?
Oh, for sure. For sure. And the worst thing about it is, I'm so frustrated about it, is that, like, it was such an easy, like, I was just overlooking it. That wasn't what was the problem. Like, in my brain, like, that in no way was that the issue. You know what I mean? In no way was that the problem. That I everything else was the problem, but
dude,
that.
I'm feeling that 100%. I can't tell you how many times I do something, and it's usually because I'm rushing or I just want to get it done, and then it totally blows up in my face, and then later on, like, I think of the obvious solution, or like I'm watching like an Instagram reel where somebody's doing the exact same thing I was doing, but they're doing it right and I was doing it wrong. And I'm just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had that moment today. I was like, today I had that moment. I was like, so I'm working on these mallets, right?
Your pattern ply ones.
The pattern ply ones. They look like what was it? Juggling batons is what people keep calling them. But so like I'm making these things, and I was so proud of myself, man. I had found these flap wheel sanding discs, and I started sanding them, and like it did a phenomenal job. It didn't change the shape of them.
Yeah.
It did it was great. The only issue I had with them is they didn't go up to a high enough grit. They only go up to like 240 or something like that. So, and it's challenging because it's where this part of the mallet, it's curved, okay? And then it's got epoxy and it's got end grain plywood on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm,
so like I could sand plywood and make that smooth, and I could sand epoxy and make that smooth, but getting them both, like they both sand differently, so like,
yeah,
I was like, oh fuck, I'm like, it was looking great, and there was just one tiny, barely noticeable little line where the two halves of epoxy meet together.
Yeah,
there's a little crease, and then on one of the ones, like there was just some like scratching that I probably could have just hand sanded with a higher grit to get it done. And I was like, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, like I know with epoxy, like if you just sand it to like 220 or 320 or whatever, and then you pour epoxy over it, it's like a polished finish. And I was like, maybe I could do that on these mallets, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe I could paint on just the epoxy part, right? Mm-hmm. And have like a polished finish. So, because keep in mind, they're basically done at this point.
Yeah.
Ugh. And like a dummy, I'm like, I could probably freehand this too, right? I don't need to tape it off. It's just a tiny little strip of epoxy. Dude, I got epoxy everywhere. Like everywhere,
Ugh.
And then I was like, well, now I screwed it up. I'm like, well, let me try a different technique on the other side. And I made that side equally bad. And then I'm like, oh my God, I know I'm going to call up Total Boat and be like, or message Total Boat and be like, hey, so here's what I'm working on and here's what I'm thinking. And they got this really cool dude named Tom there, and he's really smart and helpful. And like, I'm like, you should have called Tom, man. You should just hit up Tom and be like, yo, Tom, like, here's my latest thing that no one's ever done with epoxy. Can you help me figure this out?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh my God, I felt like an idiot, dude. And like, it set my whole day. Like, and then for work, I'm working on this deal right now. And, the landlord basically called me an idiot, and he wasn't completely wrong. I don't want to get too much into the deal because there's a lot of confidential stuff, but
Yeah.
I was trying to help do the best for my client, and like, so like I felt like an idiot before. Then I talked to this guy, and he basically called me an idiot, and I'm like, like I'm rolling it like the rest of my day. I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, could you really be an idiot?
Idiot.
Like
Idiot.
because like, idiots, man. Like everybody knows idiots. They don't know they're idiots, right?
Yeah, that's the problem.
And if they know they're idiots, they're not idiots. They're just acting like an idiot. Like my son, right? I love him, right? He is not an idiot, but God, he loves acting like an idiot. Like it is like if there was an Olympic sport for pretending to be an idiot, like he would be like the Usain Bolt or like, Michael Phelps or whatever, including all the drug use and everything. Like that's where my son's at, Oh God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rough, man. That's especially because you were so pumped about those mallets, man. You were so pumped about how they looked. Was it okay? Looking back at it, do you think you could have just left it alone and not even fixed it, and it would have been fine? Like,
well, so like with a lot of my well, first of all, I know I can fix these. Like that's not really an issue. I just gotta sand down a little bit more. They'll just be, a 64th inch smaller,
which nobody will notice.
Oh, just
whatsoever.
me.
Yeah.
So like I don't have a problem fixing them, but I like, and that's like the part of the process of what I'm doing with these mallets is I'm trying to use my creative powers to make this as efficient as possible, and I'm trying out new ways to do things, and so it's experimenting. But I mean, and I honestly, I've been rambling now, and I don't exactly remember what you asked me.
I asked, well, no, you were just explaining about how you were doing the mallets, how you were fixing them and whatnot.
Oh,
and then I asked you, do you think you could have just got away with not even touching them up? Like, was it something that your brain would have had an issue with, is what I'm getting at?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very confident that if I just put finish on them right there, okay, and I sent them to their new homes, the people would have got them and been like, these are incredible. Thank you so much. Here's your money. Or they would have paid me before I sent them. But they'd be very pleased with it. And it's like any, like, dude, it's woodworking, right? Like any piece, right? It is so hard to get a piece perfect, right? It takes so much, like, to go from like 99% done to 100, like in terms of quality, like is a monumental feat, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And most people don't care. Like, you could pick up any piece of wood in your house. There's a ding on it. There's a scratch on it. There's a part where the finish is not perfect, right? I mean, it's like, oh, dude, like, or like two pieces of wood don't perfectly line up, right? And like I've got like 60 million different things going with these things, and it would have been fine. It totally would have been fine. I don't think of myself as a perfectionist, but I know I am, right? Like
to your fault though, sometimes, right? Like I'm the same way, to my fault. Like I get it to a point where I'm working on something, and I tend to like always take it one little step too far. Not always, but there's certain things, like I'm trying to do a chamfer on a mallet or something, and I hit it, and it's now like I pull off the sander, and I'm like, oh God damn it, that one side now is a little bit longer, a little bit down farther than this, and then I end up having to go around the whole thing one or two more times until I get it perfect. And it's just like, God, nobody else would have fucking noticed that, Ben. Like, no. Or if they would have, they wouldn't have complained about it. You know what I mean?
No, and it's like, and like, even, okay, so the funny thing is, right, is that one of the first things I made with pattern plywood was a box, right? Mm-hmm. It's in my house, okay? I remember when I finished that box, I was like, God, man, there are so many things that went wrong with this thing. It is not perfect. There's all these mistakes. There's all these. I remember thinking that, right? And it's been over a year since I made that box. And I picked it up the other day, and I'm looking at it, and I couldn't find any of my mistakes. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can't remember where I had the hard time with this. Right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is a good example of, that, like, I should not be worrying about this stuff that much. It's like, it just annoys me. I really want, like, the stuff that I do to be nice, but I'm also at the same time always trying to, like, one up myself. It's like,
Yeah.
like it's like, you're, in my head, there's a there's a part of me that's always like, hey man, if you're gonna be flexing, like, if you think you're flexing here, like, you probably should take it to the next level. What is the next level? And that voice is in the back of my head, and I'm like, well, maybe if I just put more epoxy on it, or maybe if I try to different sanding thing. And most of the time, it's stuff that I do that I can either fix or repurpose the piece or whatever. But, like, oh my god, like, I need to chill out, man. Just relax.
No,
I'm way too hard on myself.
well, yeah, but you're always pushing yourself too, which is like crazy to think that most people are just fine with being creative in a way that they are pushing themselves to a certain limit every time they build something, and always wanting to make themselves. But you're like, look, there's one level here, and I'm just gonna blow right past that fucking level, and I'm gonna go 3 levels past that. And it's just like, but I said this is like 2 episodes ago. That's what people love about your show, love about your feed, love about your page, is that you're always going to be the guy who says, fuck the normal, and fucking, I'm going to go do something that's insane. You know what I mean? Like, because normal is boring, like that saying that everybody always says. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You're just a crazy person. That's why I wanted to do a podcast with you, because crazy attracts people. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, yes. People, look, and I like to just go for it, and have fun, and I think that's, like, I've spent a lot of time thinking about my channel lately, and, like, and where I want it to be and what I want it to become, and, like, and like how people perceive me and stuff like that, and I don't know if it's like imposter syndrome, or like I've inflated the value of my own creative ideas, where, like, I'm always like, well, like, this is probably the best idea I'll ever have. I'm never gonna have another idea, or like, like this is it. Like one day, like the never ending flow of ideas that comes out of my brain is gonna the pipeline's just gonna stop, and I'm just gonna be like, God damn it, like. I guess I'll make something boring.
Like a cutting board like Ben makes. Ugh.
I did not say cutting board. I almost said cutting board.
I love how you slummed it the last couple months. I appreciate it. You're like, Ben makes cutting boards. There's some other people, I see all these people making cutting boards. Let me just try and make myself a cutting board. And then, of course, like I said before, you didn't just make a cutting board. You made a fucking inlay, like crazy cutting board for your, like, second cutting board you ever made, or something stupid.
And I'm getting more and more people asking me to make cutting boards, and I'm like, in my head, like,
I would love if you got stuck making, like, cutting boards for the next 6 months, because people always want.
Well, like, part of my goal this year is to make money, and selling cutting boards isn't that hard, and typically for most woodworkers, not for me, but for most, the time that they put into a cutting board versus what they get paid for is a good turnaround, right?
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to put $40 worth of wood into this cutting board. I'm
couple
hours into it, and boom, here you go. I'm going to sell it for 100 whatever bucks, right?
Yeah.
Like, whereas for me, I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense. And I'm like, let me reinvent the wheel on making cutting boards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because regular cutting boards are boring. And then I spent all this time doing it, and then I spent a ton of time fixing it, right? And then and making it work. And finally, I get to a product at the end that I'm happy with, and I'm like, boom! I'll take my $100, and I look back, and I'm like, how much time did I put into this thing? I'm like, oh, I put like 15 hours into this board. That's great. That's wonderful.
$250 an hour. You gotta.
Like, these cutting boards that I'm making right now, like, which I'm so I'm so angry at myself, right? But like the cutting boards I'm making right now, I made one for my brother-in-law and one for this guy who wanted to buy one. And I rushed through it like an idiot. I made them wider than my planer, so I couldn't fit them through
Mm.
it. So then I flattened it on my CNC, and the bit I have was old and crappy, and it burnt both sides of the board,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so oh my God, it was such, and then I tried to chamfer the sides, and I went too aggressive, and I had tear out, and I'm like, by the time I'm done with this damn cutting board is gonna fit through my planer, like.
Which would not be good anyways because it's an end grain board. So you were right not wanting to put it through your planer to begin with.
Anyways, yeah, it's just a never ending shenanigans with me. And I had somebody else hit me up yesterday, and they want me to make a cutting board, and they were like, yes, I would like an heirloom cutting board, and I'm like, I feel like you just used the word artisanal, right? I want an artisanal cutting board or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta Google that. I know, she doesn't have kids or anything. She wants to pass it down. I'm like, I couldn't in my head wrap my head around it. And then of course my idea goes, my thought goes to this design for a cutting board that I haven't seen before. And I'm like, that would be pretty cool. And I was thinking about using Paduke, which I haven't used before, and I'm like, oh, I could make a walnut and Paduke and maple board and put these pieces on angles, and I could do this and I could do that. And I'm like, already in my head, I'm like, dude, this is you basically are giving yourself 7 hours of work on this board.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be really. It's gonna look sweet, but it's gonna be really complicated.
Are you gonna get a good price for it? Is the question?
Yeah.
That's good. Well, if it's worth your time, that's all that matters. Then do it.
I think so, man. Who knows? At the end of the day, I'm so bad at most of this that I just kind of every time I get stressed out and get worked up about it all, I'm like, I just kind of ask myself, are you having fun, dude? This is what you wanted it to be about. Is this still fun?
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time I'm like, yes, because a huge part of me loves driving myself insane, right? I don't know what that is, but I deliberately like putting myself into positions where the outcome is not guaranteed, and it could be mentally painful for me to get out of it. I'm always in that situation.
Yeah, you're a glutton for punishment. That's the problem. You know what I mean? You just love it. You love it. You thrive on it, man.
Dude, you know what? It's the chaos. I before I met my wife, I used to have this. My whole life was just pure chaos, and when I met her, she's a very calming and logical person, and her effect on me has been great.
Yeah.
But that part of me that still loves the chaos is hey, bro, why don't you light this on fire and see what happens? And I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense. It's like my wife walks out.
That's your next thing. I feel like that's your next. No. You could create a little character, your wild side, Luke's wild side. You know what I mean? The guy that's constantly pushing you and giving you ideas and stuff. You know how you like to create little characters. That could be your next guy.
Do you know that I actually feel guilty when things run smooth and are easy?
Here's your wife laughing at you right there.
Yeah, I mean, look, she's on a conference call right now too, but she could be outside my door just laughing at me. She's like, he's an idiot. I'm going to call Debbie. Now I know they're both idiots, so this is going to be great. That's why I'll never give my wife your wife's phone number.
That would not be good. That would not be good. We got to keep them apart. That sounds bad, but them getting together and talking shit on us would be so easy. It would be ridiculous.
And because of the times that we're in, right? Where people my wife still does Zoom happy hours with people, right?
Yeah.
So I still occasionally hear her on those Zoom calls with her friends, and it's I could kind of hear them, but I'll hear her laughing, and she's like, ah, ha, ha. and then she'd be like, yeah, my husband does that too. He's such an idiot. I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about? Like, I overhear them, like, the whole girl talk, like, where, they're just like, my husband's an idiot. And I always love it when people do the voice of their spouses.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Where it's like, and my wife said blah, 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 blah. They make, like, a really funny voice. Like,
what's your wife's voice? Let's hear yours.
My wife's, well,
no, I mean, when you imitate, when you talk to your friends about her, or you talk to somebody, like, what's your voice?
I mean, most of the time, I don't do a voice for her because I don't do a voice for her because I'm really bad at voices. So, like, if you told me, hey, do like an Irish accent or like do like an Italian accent, they all basically sound the same. Right, like I can't do that. I can't do like do your best Arnold Schwarzenegger. It sounds like an Irish Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? I will show you the get to the chopper.
This needs to be a segment. This needs to be a segment. Luke reads this in what accent? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm worse than Pierce Brosnan. But the funny thing is that my daughter. I know my wife has one because I've heard her do me. I can't imitate it. But my daughter, when I say, hey, how does mom sound? How's mommy sound? Right?
Yeah.
And my daughter has one of those, well, and like it cracks me up in that kid voice. And I'm like, okay, do me. And she's like, rah, 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 rah. And I'm like, oh my God, do bubs. And she's like, rah!
Frankie loves to do that, dude. Frankie, whenever he wants to imitate me, he always has to grab a hat though, because I'm always wearing a hat. So he'll grab a hat. He'll grab one of my hats and put it on, and he'll be like, "I'm daddy. Go to your room. Do this. Do that." And I'm like, and I always go like. He always says like the negative things I say, or the when I'm disciplining them or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, don't I ever say anything happy? Can you ever imitate me with something funny or happy or like I'm always like it just shows that maybe I'm constantly on them. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, also though, I mean, but that's like universal, right? Like anytime I hear my wife doing my husband voice. I'm an idiot. It's never like, and my husband was like, I just fixed the sink, and he did a great job. Like, it's never like that. So, okay, what's your Debbie voice? Let me hear
it. Usually I always go to the same, like, kind of like, my husband, I always have that same, like, it's like very Miss Doubtfire. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, he sound like Miss Doubtfire or like Mary Poppins or something.
Yeah, that's always my go-to.
Away on the umbrella, and we go on to Never Land.
Yeah. Like, why didn't you take the trash out? And I do the shoulders thing. It's always the shoulders. You know what I mean? Like, not that Debbie walks.
Oh yeah, there's
she does this, but it's just funny. I don't know. That's my go-to.
My problem is my wife is right a lot. So like I hate, if I try to imitate her, it's like, yeah, my wife was like, you didn't bring the laundry upstairs when you were supposed to. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're right. Like,
yeah. Dude. Oh, that's too
I hope
funny.
she doesn't listen to this podcast, to be honest with you, because she's going to be like, wait, you really push yourself so hard. Why don't you apply that to things around the house? I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, the fact that our wives are allowing us to do this podcast is amazing. Like I told Debbie, I'm going to carve an hour out of our week to do this, and she luckily, is that a Christie Oak Mills tumbler you just grabbed?
Yes, I do. I have Oak Mills tumbler. Yes.
Hey, twinsies. This week sponsored by Oak Hill Millworks.
Yeah, I love this thing so much. I almost want to get another one, but yes, we do are drinking this.
That is too funny, man. That is too funny.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Debbie,
anyways,
when I told her that I was doing this, I was in to her credit, she was like, yeah, that's cool, like that'll be fun. Not like that hour you could be doing laundry or doing something else.
With the shoulders. Oh God, I'm gonna be thinking about your shoulder moves all day. Yeah. See, the difference though between you and me is that I brought up doing a podcast to my wife last year, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing a podcast, and she was like, why? I was like, well, I think it's going to fit in with my plan because, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't know. She's like, sounds like a waste of time. So I really didn't tell her I was doing a podcast. Except until like, this is our fourth episode?
Fourth episode.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did tell her like last week, I'm like, yeah, so we've recorded like 3 episodes and like, I think this podcast is going to be pretty good. And she's like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, you remember we talked about it. And she's like, I could see like her head, like her eyes are like, she starts to like look up and she's like, when did we talk about this? I don't remember him telling me that he was actually doing it. I specifically remember telling him, I don't think this is a great idea. This might be just a complete waste of your time. And I'm like, let's just find out what happens. I like putting myself in awkward situations anyways. So a conversation with my wife later about how stupid I am should work out well.
Yeah. No, she's going to be pleasantly surprised. You got to get her to listen, man. We've been killing it. We've been straight killing it.
Dude, I know this podcast is straight fire, but the problem is, dude, it took me like 6 months to get her to follow me on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I've seen her looking at my reels before. I'm like, hey, you want to give that a like? Maybe save it for me. It would help me out. She's like, no, I don't like any posts. She was like, I want my Instagram algorithm to know as little bit about me as possible. And I'm like, so you just can't give it just a like. I mean, what's
just one little like?
What if Instagram? Yeah, what if Instagram finds out you like me? Like, like Instagram probably knows we have kids. Like, it's not that dumb.
Yeah, yeah. I've just forced Debbie to watch them because I'm sitting here editing them. So like if she wants to hang out with me, she's going to be sitting here watching these podcasts with me. So no, I'm just joking, but no, literally she's very supportive. So I'm very lucky.
Oh, and my wife is super supportive.
Yeah.
But she's not supportive by liking my posts. Like, that's where she draws the line.
She makes no effort. It's social media. She's going to give you you have plenty of love the rest of your life and from her and everything. But social media, you get no love.
Oh, well, and it's funny. Like, so like I did that YouTube video, right?
Yeah.
And like she watched the video and she was like, I'll watch it again and give you more critiques. Cause her ideas and her criticism is very good. Like it really helps me out a lot. But like she's cool with that, but she is not going to like my posts.
She's there for critiquing and giving you ideas, but she is not there for giving you love and likes.
No.
No.
I just want to hug. She's just like, go, she's like, I'm not in the mood right now. I'm like, come on.
Plenty of real hugs. No virtual hugs for Luke.
No. Like I'm not trying to like look. My wife is amazing, and I and in the off chance that she ever listens to this, I really really love you and appreciate you. But
give the man a like every once in a while.
Is that too much to ask? Like, and I don't want to be like, well, my mom shares all my posts. Like, that's not going to help me out,
You don't want to put that rift in between you and your wife and your mom, dude. Like,
so I don't know. And I know my mom will be listening to this podcast. So, and my dad too. I'm going to have to teach my dad what a podcast is, but it'll be fun.
That would be awesome, dude. This morning I was I woke up and as I do every day, I go quickly to find out what the weather's like in Chicago, which makes perfect sense. So I'm watching Front Porch Weather. Dude, your son just kills me, dude. He is just, the cold sucks it right out of him, and he does not give it to you. He's just not.
It is not the cold. Like he okay, so today, like every day, okay, it's like the same thing. It's me rushing him to eat his breakfast, right? Yeah. And trying to get him out the door. Like he had to run to the bus like within the last week. I don't know if it was this week or last week because time is irrelevant. But but like we've walked out the door and I've been yelling at him like, you're gonna be late, and he's had to run to the bus, right?
Yeah.
And like he still doesn't care. And like so like today, his problem is that a lot of kids wear snow pants when it's this cold out, right?
Yeah.
School. Okay. So he told Jackie, he's like, I don't want to wear my snow pants. Right? And Jackie's like, okay, well, I'm going to put them in your backpack. And that way, when you get to school, if you change your mind, they're there. And he was like, okay. So, like, he's already drug his feet on eating breakfast. It's already after 7:30. We got to get to the bus.
Yeah.
And, like, his boots are on. His coat is unzipped, but it's about to be zipped. And he looks at Jackie. He's like, I want to put my snow pants on. And Jackie's like, no, you said no. That's what your decision was, right? It's in your backpack. You could put them on at school. And then he just melts down. Now, and he's like,
to be fair, she's trying to reason with a 6-year-old.
A 5-year-old. Like,
a 5-year-old.
Like, oh my God. Like, and that's what it is constantly with him. It's like, you made this decision. We're going to hold you to it. Right. And he's like, I didn't make that decision. I don't know who you're talking about, So, like, he gets so emotional that we walk out the door, and I'm like, I love doing that front porch weather. And Ellie, like, if Bubs is in a bad mood, she's in a great mood. So she's like, I'll do it. No problem. Let's have fun, Dad. And like, so, like, Bubs is, like, slowly dragging his feet out the door. And, like, I'm like, okay, Bubs, wrap it up. He's like, make it a great day.
It was. Like, oh. It was so Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Make it a great day, people.
And then he just makes it like, and he's like me because he's like, well, because my head's not in the right space, I'm just going to make my life more difficult for myself. Right. So he shuffles his feet through the snow and he fills up like the top of his boots with snow.
Oh my
God. By the time we hit the corner, he's like, my feet are wet. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, bro. Like you don't have your snow pants on to keep your feet from getting wet. And we told you, like, stay out of the snow because your feet are going to get wet. And he's like, well, fuck you, Dad. Like, seriously. Like, go eat a dick. I really don't care what you say. Like, dude, he was like yelling at me last night. He's like, Dad, play that song. Right? He said the same thing to me. He does the same thing like 3 times in like 24 hours. He's like, play that song that I like. And I'm like, okay, which song is it? He's like, the relief song or whatever. I'm like, well, can you sing it or whatever? He's like, no. I'm like, can you give me any of the words in the song? He's like, no, but you know the song. And I'm like, that doesn't help me, bro. And like, it turns out it was like Believe It by Imagine Dragons, right? Believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so I just got to remember that now the next time. And then this morning he's like yelling at me and my wife. Both kids' new thing too is blaming my wife for forgetting things. But he's like, Dad, I really want that cereal. Could you make sure that you remember to get me that cereal? And I'm like, what cereal are you talking about, buddy? Like, we bring different cereals in the house all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the flat one. It's flat. I'm like, is it colorful or is it not colorful? Like, I'm trying to like get more information. And turns out he was talking about Captain Crunch Oops All Berries, which is not a flat cereal.
Oh, yeah. No.
And he said it wasn't colorful, but I mean, Oops All Berries is as colorful as it gets. So, like, oh my God. I'm like, and then he blames me like for everything. And I'm like, dude, like, I was a perfect 5-year-old. I have no relation. I don't understand, I was a perfect kid.
Yeah, of course you were. Let's talk to your mom about that. Let's go to the tape. We should have a segment where ask Luke's mom.
Actually, you should have a segment where you ask my dad, because my dad is the one that's completely. You think I'm crazy? Whew. Yeah,
I would have thought Cinnamon Toast Crunch when he said flat cereal. That's the one I would have gone to, because in my head that's the flattest cereal I can think of. I mean, Wheaties are pretty flat, but
dude, and they hated Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So we like last summer, we basically let them try every cereal at the grocery store over the course of like the summer, right?
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch was X'd out. Cheerios, like, since they've been like toddlers, they don't really like Cheerios. It doesn't stop anyone from buying it, but it doesn't like Cheerios. Mostly it's Captain Crunch, Fruit Loops, and which Captain Crunch, I didn't eat that as a kid. That's good cereal. And then I eat a lot of Frosted Mini Wheats, which is probably bad for me. So, but
I was always a Honey Nut Cheerios guy, and Frosted Flakes. Everyone, my dad would buy, but he rarely bought sugary cereals. Like it was very rare that we got sugary cereals in our house. It was like
Yeah.
oatmeal, and it was like not shredded wheat, but wait, was it shredded wheat? No, grape nuts he would buy, and
Mm. Yeah.
he would buy Raisin Bran, and then
Oh, I liked Raisin Bran.
Cheerios, either regular or Honey Nut. Those were like the options that we really got as kids, and that was pretty much it. Like
Yeah.
he didn't really go for the chocolatey. Like my friends were all eating like Count Chocula and freaking Cocoa Puffs and things like that. When I'd go spend the night at their house and we'd wake up and have breakfast, it was like, oh my gosh, you guys eat this? It was amazing.
Are you guys rich?
Yeah, yeah. That's the funny part about my household, like growing up. It was weird. Like it wasn't like we were poor by any, like we weren't poor. You know what I mean? Like we weren't like, at least I didn't think we were poor. You know what I mean? It's not like we never had food or anything like that. But my dad was always, I think the way he grew up in a household where like his grandma was very strict and very like, certain, like he didn't have a lot of frills and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think we just kind of grew up the same way. You know what I mean? Like, which was, like we didn't have TV for a portion of my childhood growing up. Like they just didn't, my dad just like, we just didn't have, like he like turned off the TV or, turned off the cable or whatever the hell it was.
He plugged the TV into an adapter that didn't work, so you guys all thought the TV was broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Too soon? Is that too soon to make that joke?
Yeah, like father, like son. Yeah.
Well, TV must not be working, Ben. I'm so sorry.
Oh Jesus, maybe that's why I couldn't figure it out. No, that's funny though, man. Like cereals, yeah, as a kid, cereals were just like, it wasn't a fun thing at our house. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like very basic.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of early life food memories, but it's probably because I love weed so much. But yeah.
What did you guys eat? Did you guys eat a lot of in Chicago? What did you grow up eating? Like we ate out here in California, like it was a ton of Mexican food. You know what I mean? Like that's what my mom, like
Yeah.
we had burritos and tacos, and that's like what influenced our eating. Like what did you guys eat back there?
Like we ate a lot of hot dogs. I know that. There's
Yeah.
a hot dog stand I remember going to a lot.
Yeah.
We ate a lot of pizzas. I remember they used to order this place called Judy's Pizza. They used to order it all the time. And then my mom would cook, and it took my mom like it wasn't until college that my mom became a good cook.
Oh wow.
She's a great cook now. Growing up though, she told me, oh my God, dude, she told me one time that that margarine and ketchup mixed together is pasta sauce. And she mixed it together, heated it up, mixed it together, threw it in some noodles and was like, here. And I was like, this is delicious. And like,
oh my God.
She's like, yeah, that's pasta sauce. I'm like, awesome. And like growing up, my dad didn't eat vegetables either. He eats them now, but like I remember like my mom would be like, well, I think I need to cook some vegetables for the kids, and so let's cook boil some broccoli or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, Dad, are you gonna eat any vegetables? And he'd be like, oh, I liked them so much I ate them out of the pot on the stove. I'm like, wow, like that's cool, Dad. Like, okay, I gotta eat some too then. And he's like, yeah, you do. I'm like, wow, kids are idiots.
He's tricky, man. He's a tricky one. That one. He's so I got a truck, dude. That was something I wanted to talk to you about.
You got the Carvana one?
No, fuck Carvana. Anybody out there is listening to this, they will never be a sponsor of this podcast.
I mean, they can sponsor me, but whatever. So wait, what happened?
No,
dude, okay. So last time we left off, last you told me, because I saw a picture of the truck, right? And I was like, oh, I assume that's the truck you got. But I was like, I saw the truck was like reddish and like, but I thought you told me you were getting a blue truck because Debbie was like, I really like the color blue.
Yeah.
And so what happened? Like, did they just ship your truck to the wrong person?
No, what happened was they're the worst. They're the devil. And No, their communication just sucks, man. They're really bad at communicating, Carvana, and our truck just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and they finally, after the two phone calls of berating them and making venting, they
Yeah,
they
I remember the
finally.
second time you had all new material.
Yeah, I did. And they finally had somebody reach out to me who was a manager. I'm doing the air quotes. And they basically explained that it got to the inspection site in Arkansas and it failed the inspection. So then they had to fix whatever it is that failed the inspection, and they wouldn't tell me what the problem was. And they just pushed it back another 2 weeks. So whatever the problem is, it's a major problem because it's going to take them. It's now would have taken them over a month to fix whatever the issue is. And so
Wait, the car was in Arkansas?
the car was in Arkansas. Yeah. The car was
makes no sense to me.
Well,
Because honestly, I think about Carvana's business model, right? And I know that when you and granted, like used car value has gone up or whatever, but like typically, on a used car sale, most companies are making I don't know, between like $2,000 and $5,000 on average, right?
Yeah.
So but to ship a car across the country is like $1,500. Like that, even without having a building like that you're paying rent on, like that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how their business plan works because they are horrible at what they do. I'm going to keep railing on them because I was just super I was just super disappointed, man, to be honest with you. And I'm not usually the guy who does this, but they really really upset me. And so yeah, but we basically, once we got the date that was pushed back into February, we made the decision that was it. We're gonna go try and find something at a dealership. So 7 dealerships later, last Saturday, we started early in the morning. Well, actually, it started Friday night. We went Friday night to one dealership, found a truck, thought we might like it, or thought we might get it because we liked it. It was also blue because Debbie was big on blue. But they brought us in at one price, and then as soon as we sat down with the guy, they added a quick $4,500 of added on stuff to the car that the guy comes to me and goes, he comes to us and goes, okay, so here's the price, right? And here's the 3180 is what they called it. It was like extra $3,000 or something. And they were like, this stuff's optional, right? The first guy, he said, this stuff's optional, and here's the price. And we were like, well, yeah, it's, we're not really interested in that stuff. The second guy comes back and goes, yeah, here's the price. Here's the 3180 again. It's not really optional. It's in the car. So you can't like take it out. It's already there. And I'm like, what do you mean it's already there? I'm like, the guy before you just told us it's an option. So now you're telling me because it's already in the car, it's not an option. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it was a total bait and switch, dude. Total bait and switch. Like they gave us one price and they came back with a second price. So we didn't like it. We left basically. So the next day we went to 7 different dealerships, finally found the car that we liked. This truck, it's gorgeous. The body is beautiful. The engine's awesome. Everything's great. We went in, got the price we wanted, the warranty we wanted, and we were out of there within like 3 hours basically, and had a new truck, and it's awesome, dude. And needless to say, I'm excited.
Congratulations. Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, congratulations, man. That sucks.
Yeah, they were really bad. And
it's kind of like your Harbor Freight story, man. Like where like you were running around town getting jerked around, man. Again, like if I talked to my mom about this, she'd probably say that like your planets are misaligned, and like Jupiter is in your anus, and
that's
jamming
not
you
good.
up.
That's not good.
Something with the planets are totally screwed with you, Ben. I don't know. Like
if my chakras aren't aligned or some shit like that.
Dude, you should burn some sage.
I do. I maybe I should. I don't know what I need to do, but I need to do something. But no, the truck was good. That I feel like I'm on the up. I feel like I'm on the upswing. We got the truck. Harbor Freight sent me out a $25 gift card that I just got yesterday. All these things are starting to turn around.
2,500? 2,500?
No. $25.
Oh, I was just you said 2,500. I was like, dude, you could buy all of Harbor Freight for $2,500.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Can you imagine a shopping spree with like $5,000 there? Like literally, you could fill up a whole shop. It would be ridiculous.
I would be so frustrated. I'd be like, I've got all this money and I gotta buy a Harbor Freight table saw. Oh, oh.
Yeah,
Dude, I okay. So I had something. I learned a little bit about my health this week. Nothing bad.
Oh, okay,
I learned
good.
how out of shape I am though, because I went over to my buddy's house and I got to try. Have you ever tried an Oculus Rift, the VR?
No, what is that?
VR, like you put the goggles on.
Oh, the virtual reality. Yeah, I know. I've worn one of those for like 5 minutes one time. Yes.
Dude, so I go over to my buddy's house, right? And this is the one thing I wanted to tell you about this week. I didn't tell you when we talked earlier because I wanted to save this for you.
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, we got the VR, we got the Oculus Rift. I'm like, oh, cool, man. And I love video games, so I'm like, I gotta try this thing, right? So he's like, hey, there's this game. It's called Beat Saber, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's like Rock Band. Remember Rock Band with the guitar?
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Basically, there's these cubes that are flying at you, and you have lightsabers in each hand, and you have to blow up the blocks in the direction that the arrow that's on the blocks. And there's like walls and stuff flying at you, and you got to like lean and move out of the way, right?
So it's like a drumming game in a sense, right? And so you're like,
so you're standing there waving your arms like a goofball, right?
Got you.
So he gives this to me, and I start playing it, right? And he puts on a really fast paced song, and it's like on expert mode, right? And I die within the first like second, right? It's like 75 boxes fly at my face. I was like, oh my god, it's like it's totally overwhelming me, right? And he's like, no, you got to go in easy mode. So I go in easy mode, right? Which was very easy, but like it's a good 4-minute song where you're waving your arms around, quickly, right?
Yeah.
And like at the end of the song, I was out of breath, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Oh jeez!" Like that was aggressive. I'm like, he's like, "Why don't you play another song?" I'm like, "I kind of don't want to." I'm like, "Is there anything where I could play and not have to move around so much?" Right? he's like, you know. So then he's like, puts in some other. This really cool Darth Vader game, right?
Yeah.
And like, it was boxing after that. He's like, "Well, why don't you try boxing?" Which was really interesting. So you're in the game, you're looking around, right? And you see like the whole arena, right? And like then you see the dude that you got to fight. And like I've played boxing games before, right?
Yeah.
And there's my character and the other guy, and I'm just it's totally different in VR, right? This dude rolls up on me, and he's a good half foot taller than me, right? And I'm like, dear Lord, and he's jacked, and I'm like, I gotta fight this dude. Even in VR, I'm like nervous, you know. So like. It's like, so you like tap the gloves and all that, and like I start boxing this guy, right? And like he was whooping my ass, dude. Like just hit me left and right. Finally, I started blocking some of his punches and stuff like that, and I ended up winning. But by the end of it, I was like, "Yeah, motherfucker!" I'm like, "I whooped your ass!" And like my kids are right there in the room, right? And like his 13-year-old son is in the room, right? And my wife and his wife are having a glass of wine, and like he's just sitting there laughing at me. And I'm like, "Yeah, motherfucking die, bitch!" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" My kids are like, "Can I play next?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "It would make you start swearing like dad." I'm like, oh, dude. But I was at the end of it. I was like, oh my god. Like, I'm like, man, am I too fat for VR? Like, this is a problem. like, I was out of breath, man. Like, I need to play a slower paced game. It is a really cool experience. But like, oh my god, like, apparently people use this to exercise with though. So,
well, it makes sense. I mean, it sounds like it's very active.
It's very active, dude. I was like, man, I could walk up the stairs of my house and I'm not out of breath. That means I'm in shape. Like, you know, I got all these. It's like I got these weird metrics on how I judge my health, and like they're all horrible. Like my trainer at the gym, if like I ever told him what goes on in my head, he'd be like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Like, you're so fat and lazy. Like, come on.
I love that you have different metrics for. It's like, oh, I got out of bed today and nothing hurt. Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Well, and it's funny. Like, my dad has those metrics too, and like, every time I talk to him, I'm like, good morning, because I FaceTime my dad every day, and I'm like, how's it going today? He goes, well, I woke up, so it's a great start. I'm like, cool. See, your bar has gone down so low that waking up is where it kicks off. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I really need to get my life priorities straight. Like, I'm not doing this right.
I think it's cool that you talk to your dad every day on FaceTime. That's pretty neat. I need to do that.
I mean, a lot of days we don't talk about anything, but yeah.
No, but it's cool that you just see his face every day. Like being that you're even in the same city or near the same, in the same state, at least. Me and my dad are obviously across the country from each other. So I don't really see his face or talk to him that much, but I look at that idea and I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, man. That's cool. I dig that.
Well, I did it with my grandpa before he passed away. So like when I went to college, I had a good relationship with my grandparents, and but when I got back from college, like I didn't really see my grandparents a lot. I talked to them regularly, but I didn't see them. And when I got back, like I noticed my grandfather was like considerably older looking.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. So we actually, this is back when I was single and had infinite amount of free time. So I ended up going to dinner with him every Wednesday for like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And until he passed away, which was a really great experience for me. Like I learned a ton about him, and we got to spend a ton of quality time together.
That's cool.
And like made me respect him more than ever. And like when he passed away, it really sucked, but like I didn't have any regrets. Like I didn't feel like I didn't spend enough time with him. And like, I know my parents aren't going to be there one day, which is going to totally blow. But so I try to.
How soon did you start like how long was the FaceTiming before your grandfather passed away? Because you did the lunches or every 5 years, but I mean, when did you, or the dinners? Sorry, when did you start the FaceTiming? Like how soon was that? Like a later, like farther along into the process?
So I know that I started seeing it because back when I was doing these dinners, there was no FaceTime. But so this was probably like maybe maybe like 2000 to 2005 ish, somewhere around there.
Okay, I was just thinking it wasn't like the last 6-7 months of his life or something. You just decided to start FaceTiming him because like that would be kind of worrisome.
It was 5 years before he died.
No, I know that was the dinners were, but I'm talking about just the FaceTiming. I was just curious.
With my dad?
No, with your grandpa. You said you did it with your grandpa too, right?
No. I said I visited my grandpa.
Oh,
and was with him physically because like at the time I lived like 20 minutes away from him.
Okay,
20 like a half hour away, and I just wanted to be around him, and it gave me a chance to see my grandmother too a lot, and which I was really close with her, so like it was a lot. But so I did that from like 2000 to maybe 2006 ish. I can't remember the exact time.
I was just trying to establish if there was a pattern in the FaceTiming prior to the death. I just say you're like you're like a cancer cat that crawls up next to somebody right before they die. If you start FaceTiming somebody, and I'm just worried.
Don't say that. I'm like, oh my God, like I don't want to think that like because I'm spending time with them that like, hey, we're gonna spend 5 years together, but at the end of that 5 years, you're gonna be dead. Like, God damn, dude. I already got my kids telling me that I'm gonna be dead in the next 6 months. Anyways, I don't need like you telling me that my parents are gonna be dead in 5 years from now. Like, oh.
I was just thinking, actually, like, the way you said it was like I FaceTime with my dad. I did it with my grandpa too, right? And he. I thought you meant you did it right before he died as well. And I was thinking, like, is this a pattern? Like, you're like. No.
There were a number of dinners though that I thought like on Monday that my grandfather might be dead, but we were at the restaurant on Wednesday, so it was a total different experience. But
that's cool though. I love the fact that you got to have that time with him and that experience. See this thing, by the way, it's creeping down. At any point, I keep pointing the wrong way. At any point, this thing is gonna fall. By the way, guys. But it's like totally. I keep doing.
How is it secured this week?
This week it has double-sided tape, but it's not very good double-sided tape. So at any
thought you
point,
had nails in the under it.
I went with the tape this time because I found the tape over this last week. Remember, I couldn't find the tape. I found the tape.
Did you cheap out on how much tape you used?
I used one strip. I thought one strip would be sufficient, but anyways, I just noticed it over my shoulder over here that it's starting to.
It is drifting.
No, the cool thing is like you got to spend that time with your grandpa, dude. That's so cool. I mean, I didn't have that relationship with my grandpa at all. He was like our grandparents. Like we saw them on because my parents or my mom and her parents didn't have a great relationship, so like we didn't really see them. We saw them on holidays, and that was basically it. You know what I mean? We didn't see them like other times. So like I don't know a whole lot about my grandparents. You know what I mean? Like I don't know like their stories or their history or anything like that. So I think it's cool that you got to do that.
It was super cool, but I will tell you, Ben, I come from a long line of crazy people. Like my grandfather was eccentric, and I love and miss my grandmother every day, but she was crazy. Especially at the end, like I used to come to her house, like, and she'd be like, "You look just like George Clooney. You know, if I wasn't your grandmother, I would date you." And I'm like, "Oh, Grandma! Like, come on."
I'm worried that she clearly doesn't know what George Clooney looks like.
Yeah, I'm like, and I know she was on some really good meds at the end, and I'm like, the closer to the end she got, the crazier it got. It's like I'm not gonna date. Even in an alternate reality, Grandma, we're not gonna date. I'm sorry. Like it's just I can't even wrap my head around that. So
did she know another George Clooney in her neighborhood growing up or something?
No, dude. But this was like you gotta keep in mind the timeline. This is like ER George Clooney. This isn't like modern day George Clooney. I mean,
no, I know. Yeah, you were spitting image.
Of
George Clooney.
I look more like Ron Jeremy than George Clooney.
If she would have said Ron Jeremy, I would have been worried though. Grandma.
There was a time of my life where if I shaved to just a mustache, I could look like I was Ron Jeremy's cousin. It was not a proud time in my life. I was probably a pretty big D-bag, but
Tom Jeremy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm Tom Jeremy, Ron Jeremy's cousin.
Oh Jesus, dude. Oh man. I think this is gonna be so much fun moving forward, man. We're having a blast, dude.
Oh my god, this is just a rabbit. Look, I'm sure I could just keep going, but I
no, we need to get out of here, man. It's been an hour. We're here. We're at our mark. We're at the mark. The last few episodes have been a little long, so we're gonna try and keep them around an hour.
Dude, this is a fast hour, man.
It goes quick.
Like I don't know if we're ever gonna be able to have guests on here because we both don't shut up.
No, I know we talk a lot. Dude, I have a lot of. I mean, I had other things I wanted to say. We had a game night and a talent show this week at our house, dude. There's stories for days. Dude, and that
I had a whole list of things, and outside of asking you about your car and Bubs in the Flat cereal, I don't think we hit any of it. So.
We talk.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. This week, stay tuned because this is going to come out this week, but it's going to be the 4th episode in the group that we're putting out. So you're probably going to listen to this. Well, if you're a super fan, which I hope you all are, you'll listen to it all the same day. 4 or 5 hours of straight the joinery. That would be great. But in reality, you'll probably listen to this over the next couple of weeks. So the 4th episode will be this episode, which is going to be you're hearing this in the future. So
and look, I feel like I should give everybody a public service announcement. So if you guys ever want to ask us questions or submit any kind of like, hey, any comments or whatever, feel free to visit our Instagram page, like, subscribe, all that goodness. But it's the Jointery, 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 because we bring it all together. We're jointing. right?
Jointing, yeah.
It's a jointery. So you can hit us up on there. You can hit me up on my Instagram. That's the quickest way, which is Luke in the Garage, or you could hit up Ben at Crazy Deb with a K.
Don't do that. Condors of Creations. Find
That's
us. Find us there. And dude, we have these things are going to go out on YouTube. This thing's going to go. It's going to be on all the places you can find your podcasts that you want to find them at, Spotify and Apple and all that places. And then there's going to be a website where you guys can come visit, and we're going to do things. There's the Instagram page. There's going to be Twitter and LinkedIn and all these other things. So look for us everywhere.
I'm not creating a LinkedIn profile.
No, we're not doing LinkedIn.
No. And look, if Bryce wants to get a hold of us, don't do it on Twitter. Okay.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
All right.